Greetings everyone, I'm Borko from Plumsail. In this video, I'll show you how to display dotted line managers using Plumsail Org Chart for SharePoint and Microsoft Teams with simple and easy to follow steps. I'll show you how to display dotted line managers in case your data sources are SharePoint List, Entra ID or formerly Azure Active Directory, SharePoint User Profiles, and Excel or CSV. The description section includes timestamps and links to the mentioned data sources, allowing you to quickly navigate to the instructions for the data source you need. Plumsail Org Chart has a few different layouts you can choose from, and those are top to bottom compact, top to bottom classic, top to bottom with grouping of leaves, left to right, and bottom to top. And in all of these layouts, dotted line managers might be shown differently. If a solid line employee has a dotted line manager, it will be displayed as a small button next to the solid line box. It allows you to quickly navigate to a dotted line manager. Please note, Plumsail Org Chart allows you to have one or more dotted line managers for an employee. Thus, an employee can have one direct or solid line manager and unlimited number of dotted line managers. Let's see how to set up dotted line managers for SharePoint List data source first. This is how our employee list looks like and how the data is stored in SharePoint. And we have dotted line manager column added, which stores dotted line manager ID for an employee. Very important in here is that the type of column for dotted line manager ID has to be the same as type of column used in employee ID. For simplicity purposes, I used the single line of text for all columns. As a dotted line manager ID, I will be using an ID from a manager who will be presented as a dotted line manager to a specified employee. In my case, it is a manager's email, but you can use any other ID. In here, I added only one dotted line manager, and it will show only a single dotted line manager for this person in this case. Just a quick reminder, in case you need help setting up your SharePoint list to look just like this, I will leave a link to the video in the description section on how to create an org chart from a SharePoint list with step-by-step instructions, so you can check it out and organize your SharePoint list to be used as a data source for org chart. There is a link for a 30-day free trial in the description section as well, with no credit card required. Simply register your account and try it out. All the features are available during this trial period. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button to get the most out of our channel. Now let's get back to Org Chart and click on Configure button. Select SharePoint List as a data source, then select the list with your employees. In the mapping field for dotted line manager ID, we must select the name of the column we have for dotted line managers, and it is dotted line manager email. To be able to display multiple dotted line managers for a regular single line of text list column, you can just use a semicolon to separate dotted line manager IDs for the SharePoint list, and in this case, email addresses, just like it's shown on the screen. We saw how it looks when adding a single dotted line manager to an employee, but let's see how quickly and easily you can add multiple dotted line managers to an employee in SharePoint list, separating them with semicolon, and how it looks like on the org chart. I will add one more dotted line manager to Jose Martin. Dotted line managers are separated by a semicolon, and emails are used for dotted line manager IDs. But in here, you can use any other unique identifier like employee ID, SharePoint list ID. And as you can see, once refreshed, multiple dotted line managers are displayed on the org chart for the selected employee. By default, there is no mapping for dotted line managers in Entra ID. To be able to display dotted line managers for Entra ID data source, change the mapping in Configuration Wizard in org chart and select one of the extension attributes. I will select extension attribute 2, and this allows us to display one dotted line manager per employee for Entra ID data source. Now let's review where the data for dotted line managers comes from. The most common scenario is shown on the screen, and it's when attributes are filled in Active Directory on premises, then they are synchronized to Entra ID and mapped to extension attributes. But don't worry if it sounds too complicated. This part is usually done by the IT team as they have all the necessary admin permissions. In addition to synchronization from Active Directory on premises, there is another way to set extension attributes, and it's to set extension attributes manually in Exchange Online Admin Center. Open Exchange Online Admin Center, then open mailboxes to set extension attributes manually. Select the employee you want to add a dotted line manager to, then click on Others and open Custom Attributes. You will see many attribute description fields, but as I have chosen extension attribute 2 in the org chart mapping, I will add the UPN of a dotted line manager to this employee. To add UPN, I will go back to Entra ID and find dotted line manager's profile and copy UPN. Paste it to attribute extension 2 and hit save. And this is a workaround to display dotted line managers when your data source is Entra ID. Similarly, we can display dotted line manager for user profiles. Dotted line manager is enabled by default in SharePoint User Profiles data source, and it uses a standard dotted line manager field from there, as you can see it on the screen. If we open the configuration wizard for the org chart and select user profiles as a data source, we get to choose the dotted line manager ID. Now we can search for dotted line manager, and org chart will try to get the data from this standard dotted line manager user profiles property. In case you store that information in a different property, you will have to select that property in the mapping field. This may be a case when you create a custom property for SharePoint user profiles for multiple dotted line managers, which we will see shortly. And if you want to disable dotted line managers, all you have to do is to select none in the mapping field. By default, org chart uses standard dotted line managers property from SharePoint user profiles, as I mentioned earlier, but this allows us to store only one dotted line manager per employee. If you want to add multiple dotted line managers per employee, we have to create a custom property in SharePoint user profiles and specify it in org chart mapping. To create a new custom property, go to SharePoint user profiles, click on Manager User Properties, then add a new property, which I will call multiple dotted line managers. Make sure the type is string single value and increase the length for the field. Choose policy settings optional and default privacy settings to everyone, and save it. Now you should get a new custom property in your SharePoint user profiles. Once we have a new property for dotted line managers in SharePoint user profiles, we can fill it with semicolon separated list of dotted line managers using their account names, which could be found in SharePoint user profiles, just like in this example. And make sure you only use the email part of it without the prefix text. And I will add a couple of dotted line managers to Jose Martin to show how it looks like on the org chart. Please note that I separate the dotted line manager account names with semicolons. Once we do that, we must make sure to select this newly created property for multiple dotted line managers in org chart so they get displayed properly. And you can see on the screen that 2 dotted line managers have been added to Jose Martin. And as we click to dotted line managers, Jose Martin is displayed with dotted line for each one. The way to set up a dotted line manager for Excel or CSV as a data source is very similar to what we did earlier with the SharePoint list. You can see how the spreadsheet with my employee list looks like and the columns I have in it. Please note this is not a rule. You can add or remove columns as per your requirement. For example, you can add projects or country and similar. And In the dotted line manager email column, I will add an email from a dotted line manager for a specified employee. In the configuration process, I will use the dotted line manager email column as dotted line manager ID, and this will add a dotted line manager to a specified employee. In case we want to add multiple dotted line managers for the same employee, all we have to do is to add dotted line managers IDs, in this case dotted line managers emails, to the dotted line manager column in Excel or CSV, and make sure to separate them with a semicolon, just like we did when our data source for SharePoint List. Add as many dotted line managers as needed, and Org Chart will automatically apply these changes once refreshed. So this is an easy way to add multiple dotted line managers when your data source is CSV or Excel. Once we publish the org chart, we can go back at any time and reconfigure it. From here, you can add it to Microsoft Teams as a tab and share it with your employees. A separate video on how to add the org chart to Microsoft Teams is attached in the description section. And that will be all for this video. I hope you find it helpful. And don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button to keep up with the upcoming content. See you soon.